Welcome to Natural Health Talk, your go-to podcast for all things related to holistic wellness, natural remedies, and living a balanced, healthy lifestyle. Be sure to visit our sponsor, topnaturalhealth.com, for special promo code pricing on all of the products mentioned in our episodes.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about male fertility.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be diving into some really interesting stuff from topnaturalhealth.com. They've got some fascinating insights that we want to share with you guys.
Yep.
And if you want to find out more about topnaturalhealth.com, by the way, just stick around to the end of the deep dive because they've got a special offer for our listeners.
Nice.
Now, I don't know about you, but
Okay.
I think a lot of men are kind of in the dark when it comes to kind of like everyday habits.
Oh, for sure.
That can really impact their chances of becoming a dad.
Right.
So this is going to be a really interesting one, I think, for a lot of our listeners out there. So consider this your crash course in boosting your reproductive health.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Well, let's just jump right in.
Let's do it. You know, you're absolutely right. There is so much misinformation out there. I'm really glad we're talking about this.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can clear up some of that today.
Definitely.
Give you a clearer picture of what the research really says.
Okay. So the article that we're diving into today from topnaturalhealth.com really gets into how our everyday choices really impact our fertility.
Right.
And so they start off by talking about two things that maybe, we already know.
Sure.
Not moving enough.
Right.
And having a bad diet.
Of course, yeah, those are the big ones. But, it's amazing how many people just don't make the connection,
Right.
Like, it seems so simple.
Right.
But the science behind it, when you really get into it, is actually really fascinating.
Yeah.
Particularly for male fertility.
Okay.
So, for example,
Yeah.
when we talk about a sedentary lifestyle, what we're often talking about is reduced blood flow.
Right.
And we all know that good blood flow is it's essential for a healthy reproductive system.
That makes total sense.
Well,
Everything in your body needs to have good circulation to function at its best.
Exactly.
It's like, if you've got a kink in a hose.
Exactly, yeah. Things aren't going to work as well.
Right, exactly.
And, when we're talking about diet,
Yeah.
it's not even just about, cut out the junk food, although that's important too.
Okay.
But we're talking about really specific nutrients that are really vital for sperm health.
Okay.
Things like antioxidants, vitamin C and E, selenium.
Wow.
These all play such important roles.
So it's like you need the right fuel for the engine,
100%.
not just enough gas in the tank.
That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. And what I find really interesting is that this article, it goes beyond those usual suspects.
Okay.
It really uncovers some surprising culprits that most people don't even think about when it comes to fertility.
Yeah, that's what I think is really interesting is that they kind of get into some of this stuff that,
Right.
You might not think about right away.
Absolutely. And that's what we're here to uncover today. Right.
Right, exactly. So tell me, what are some of these more, unexpected things that can impact fertility that, that maybe we're missing?
Well, get ready for this.
Okay.
Because we're talking about things like excessive exposure to electronic devices.
Right.
We're talking about spending too much time cycling.
Really?
And even something as simple as taking frequent hot baths or saunas.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Electronics, cycling, and hot tubs. Are you serious?
I know, right? It sounds a little crazy.
I mean, I knew those things weren't necessarily good for you, but I had no idea that they could actually affect fertility.
It does seem a little strange at first glance, I'll admit that.
Right.
But when you understand the science behind it,
Yeah.
it actually makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So let's start with electronic devices.
Okay.
Because there's this growing concern about the potential impact of something called radiofrequency electromagnetic radiation.
Okay, so break that down for me. What is RFEMR?
Yeah, RFEMR. So basically, it's a type of energy that's emitted from devices like laptops, cell phones, tablets, you name it.
Right, things that are pretty much glued to us.
Pretty much. And some studies are suggesting that prolonged exposure, especially close to the groin area,
Okay.
could potentially have a negative effect on sperm count and something called sperm motility, which is basically how well sperm can move.
Okay, so I'm guessing that means we should probably, avoid keeping our laptops on our laps.
You got it.
As much as possible.
Exactly. And it's not just laptops. Think about how much time your phone spends in your pocket, close to your body. It's all about being mindful of those little habits.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what about cycling? I mean, cycling is such great exercise. Are you saying that we have to choose between, riding our bikes and having kids?
No, not at all. Don't worry, you don't have to ditch your bike just yet.
Okay.
It's all about moderation.
Right.
And taking some precautions.
Okay, so what do you mean?
So think about it this way.
Yeah.
When you're cycling, especially for long periods, you're sitting on a bike saddle.
Right.
That can restrict blood flow.
Okay.
And it can increase the temperature in that area.
Yeah.
And as we've already talked about, that's not exactly ideal for sperm production.
Right. Temperature plays a big role in all of this.
Huge role.
So I'm guessing the same logic applies to the hot baths and the saunas.
Exactly. As relaxing as they are, too much heat, even if it feels good, can temporarily affect sperm production.
Wow.
So again, it's about balance.
Right.
Yeah. Enjoy that hot bath by all means, but maybe don't make it an all-day event.
Keep it short and sweet. Got it.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered movement, diet, these kind of surprise culprits.
Yeah, that's a lot already.
I know, right? What else does this article talk about?
Well, it goes into a few more lifestyle choices and some environmental factors that can have a big impact.
Okay, I'm all ears. This is fascinating.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about things like tight-fitting clothing, the usual suspects, smoking and excessive drinking, and then, those kind of sneaky environmental toxins that are just everywhere these days,
Yeah, the tight clothing thing always gets me. Yeah.
Because it's the classic, I guess, tighty-whities dilemma. Is that really something to be concerned about?
Well, let's just say those skinny jeans might not be doing anyone any favors.
Right.
Especially when it comes to, this topic.
Yeah.
Remember how we were talking about heat being a factor?
Right. Yeah.
Well, tight clothing, particularly if it's, made from synthetic fabrics, those that don't breathe so well, it can create kind of like a sauna effect down there.
Oh, wow.
Which, again, not ideal for sperm production.
So breathable fabrics and a more relaxed fit are key.
100%.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing smoking and excessive drinking.
Yeah.
Those are big no-nos as well. I mean, you already know, right? Those are those are the arch nemesis.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Fertility in general.
Right.
We all know they're bad for overall health.
Right.
But they can really, really pack a punch when it comes to reproductive health.
Okay.
Smoking, for example, introduces all these toxins.
Right.
That can actually damage sperm DNA.
Wow.
Which affects both sperm quality and motility.
So it's not just about the quantity then.
Right.
It's about the actual health of the sperm themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, wow.
And when it comes to excessive drinking,
yeah,
that one can really mess with your hormones.
Okay.
Which can then, throw a wrench in the whole sperm production process.
Okay, so that's pretty clear. If you're serious about, becoming a dad, it's time to ditch the cigarettes and cut back on the booze.
100%.
Okay, so environmental toxins, that one to me always seems a little bit, I don't know, vague and kind of scary, to be honest.
I get it.
What are we talking about here?
I know. Because it feels like, they're everywhere.
It does.
And we are talking about, we're talking about things like BPA,
right,
which is found in a lot of plastics.
Okay.
We're talking about phthalates,
okay,
which are often lurking in those, fresh linen-scented products,
right,
that are everywhere these days.
Right. BPA, that's the stuff that they're trying to get rid of in water bottles and things like that, right?
It's been linked to so many things.
Right.
I mean, so many health problems, including potential impacts on male fertility.
Wow.
And then you've got phthalates, which are in everything.
Real.
Air fresheners, cleaning products, personal care items, you name it. They're the things that make things smell, clean or masculine.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we're exposed to without even, realizing it.
I know. It's a lot.
So what's a guy to do? Live in a bubble?
Right. Well, I mean, it can feel a little overwhelming.
Right.
But I think even small changes can make a big difference.
Right.
Choosing BPA-free products when you can.
Okay.
Opting for more natural cleaning supplies.
Right.
And really being mindful of, the personal care products that you're using.
Okay.
These can all make a really big difference in reducing your exposure.
So it's about kind of making informed choices and like reading labels, doing a little bit of research.
100% knowledge is power.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we've got...
Now, speaking of things that are within our control.
Okay.
The article also makes a really interesting point about sleep.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised by kind of how much they emphasize sleep.
Yeah.
It's not just about like feeling well rested.
No, not at all.
Right.
You know, sleep is like, it is so often overlooked.
Yeah.
But it is truly foundational for like every aspect of our health. And that includes reproductive health.
Right.
The article even highlights specifically the link between sleep and infertility across all age groups.
So it's not just about, getting your 8 hours so you're not grumpy in the morning.
Exactly.
There's like a real physiological connection here.
Exactly. And it all comes down to hormones.
Okay.
Sleep is absolutely crucial for regulating those key hormones that are involved in sperm production.
Okay.
Things like testosterone, for example.
Okay.
When you're sleep deprived,
Yeah.
those hormone levels can get all out of whack.
Right.
And that can then impact sperm count, motility, you name it.
So it's like by not prioritizing sleep, you're literally sabotaging your chances of conceiving.
Yeah, it's that important.
Wow. And you said this is across all age groups.
All age groups. You got it.
It's not just, as we get older, right?
A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
That it's only an issue as you get older.
Okay, so this is like foundational for everything.
Foundational. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to all this other stuff,
Yes.
it sounds like we need to be making those Z's a top priority.
Sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
Make it a priority.
Right.
And, if you're someone who really struggles with sleep,
Yeah.
don't hesitate to talk to your doctor about it.
Right.
There are things that you can do,
Yeah.
To improve your sleep hygiene to get back on track.
That's great advice. And I know I'm guilty of it too. I don't always prioritize sleep.
I think we all are.
So I appreciate that reminder. This is great. We've covered a lot of ground.
It's a lot to think about for sure.
It is. From diet and exercise to these like surprise culprits like electronics.
I know, right?
And even like, our bed sheets. It's the little things.
It is.
It all adds up.
And, what I really took away from this article is that it's not about like making these big like sweeping changes.
Exactly.
But rather just kind of like incorporating some small sustainable habits
Absolutely.
that can really make a big difference over time.
100%. And one thing I really appreciate about this article is that it really highlights the importance of information.
Right.
Just being aware of these factors can empower men to make better choices.
Totally. And speaking of information, I do want to circle back to something else they mentioned.
Okay.
They were talking about a product called VGRX Fertility Factor 5.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I have.
Okay, so what's the deal with that? So it's a natural supplement that's designed to support sperm health.
So is it like a magic pill?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish it were that easy.
Right.
Pop a pill and all your problems are solved.
Exactly. Should guys just be like popping these instead of worrying about all the other stuff we've been talking about?
I think it's really important to remember that supplements,
Yeah.
while they can be helpful,
Okay.
they're not a substitute
Right.
for a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
Think of it as more like
Upset.
an extra boost,
Right.
not a quick fix.
Got it. So supplements can play a role, but they're not a replacement for all those other foundational lifestyle changes.
Exactly. It's all about the whole picture, right?
Right. Well, this has been, I think, an incredibly informative deep dive. I know I've learned a ton.
Me too.
I hope our listeners have too.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
It's been great exploring this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. And a huge thank you to topnaturalhealth.com for providing the inspiration for today's deep dive.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, listeners, you can head to their website. We'll put the link in the show notes.
Awesome.
And you can use the special promo code DEEPDIVE for exclusive discounts on their products.
Oh, sweet.
Including that VGRX Fertility Factor 5.
Yeah, check it.
That we were just talking about.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Now, before we sign off today, I want to leave you with one thought.
Okay.
The article focused a lot on, individual choices, which are really important, but it got me thinking. What are some of the bigger picture factors that might be affecting male fertility?
That's a great question.
Right. Things like, environmental regulations, workplace stress, issues that are, maybe a little bit outside of our immediate control.
Totally. It's a bigger conversation.
It is.
For sure.
It's definitely something to ponder.
Absolutely.
Right.
A crucial conversation to be having.
Well, on that note, I think we'll leave you to mull it over.
Yes. Go have those conversations.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious.
I think the biggest takeaway for me from this article is that even small changes in all these areas that we've talked about today can make a huge difference. You know, it doesn't have to be about being like a health nut overnight. It's about making those changes that you can sustain, that fit into your lifestyle.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. 100%.
Right. So maybe just start with like one thing, you know, maybe swap out sugary drinks for water, or, you know, like make sure that your laptop isn't always warming up your, lap.
Exactly.
Right.
Those little things.
They all add up.
They do. They really do.
Right.
And don't underestimate the power of sleep.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's so important.
So often overlooked.
I know.
But it's truly, truly foundational.
Right. And I do want to touch on one more thing that this article from topnaturalhealth.com talked about. They mentioned this product called VGRX Fertility Factor 5.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been around.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, basically, it's a natural supplement that claims to support sperm health.
Okay. So is it like a magic pill?
You know, I wish it were that simple, but unfortunately, no, it's not a magic pill.
Okay.
Well, you know, I think supplements can be a helpful addition to a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's really important to remember that they are not a substitute for a healthy lifestyle.
Got it. So supplements can kind of like complement but not replace.
Exactly. It's not a quick fix.
Right.
It's about, you know, the whole picture, the long game.
This has been such an informative deep dive. I feel like I've learned a ton.
Me too. It's been a really interesting conversation. You know, I think this is something that we all need to be talking about more.
Yeah, I know. Right.
So I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
And I hope our listeners are finding it valuable.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we are going to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
A huge thank you to topnaturalhealth.com for inspiring this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Listeners, you can head over to their website. We'll have the link for you guys down in the show notes.
Awesome.
And you can use the special promo code DEEPDIVE.
Nice.
For an exclusive discount on their products,
Love it.
Including the VGRX Fertility Factor 5 that we were just talking about.
Check it out.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone, for another deep dive. And until next time, stay curious.
Bye, everyone.
From all of us here at Natural Health Talk, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and don't forget to visit our sponsor, topnaturalhealth.com, for special promo code pricing on all of the products mentioned in this episode.